Well, I'm here to tell you that we ain't never left y'all.
Go ahead.
All right? We are here. We are also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses. We're going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You gonna learn a few lessons from us. And I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right?
Come on.
There are political clapbacks. And then there's Jasmine Crockett, the Congresswoman from Texas with a law degree in one hand and a flamethrower in the other. While most politicians offer polite sound bites and rehearsed rebuttals, Crockett drops truth bombs like she's headlining a roast.
But for whatever reason, this is the first time we're having a Doge subcommittee hearing, and that guy's not here. Instead, we have y'all. So I do want to thank you for coming. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday, and he admitted that he was lying, and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie.
And who's her latest target? None other than President Donald Trump, the man, the myth, the mugshot? That's right. The man who thinks reading classified documents at Mar-a-Lago is just adult story time. The same man who can't go 5 minutes without comparing himself to Lincoln, Jesus, or a misunderstood Bond villain.
Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Jasmine Crockett shows up, not physically, but verbally, and proceeds to dismantle him like a poorly built IKEA table. She leaned into the mic, looked straight at the camera like she was delivering a sermon, and said, "Donald Trump isn't just a bad president. He's a dollar store dictator in a red tie. He's what happens when you give a narcissist nuclear codes in a Twitter account." And she wasn't finished. Oh no. Crockett came for the American electorate like a disappointed teacher handing back a test with a big fat red F. She looked at the cameras, raised an eyebrow like your mom right before a lecture, and essentially said, "Y'all did this. Trump doesn't hide his authoritarian tendencies, he advertises them. The man has the subtlety of a foghorn and the humility of a WWE heel. He's been yelling witch hunt into the void since 2016. And somehow people still look surprised when he starts quoting Mussolini with a Diet Coke in hand. And that's when Jasmine dropped the hammer. Donald Trump isn't leading. He's ruling. There's a difference, and the difference is called democracy.
You know why we fight with Greenland? Why we fight with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yeah, we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America.
According to Jasmine, Trump's foreign policy strategy has the nuance of a bar fight. He praises dictators, bullies allies, and then wonders why no one wants to sit with him at the G7 lunch table. She pointed out how under Trump, every summit felt less like diplomacy and more like an episode of Survivor. White House edition alliances crumbling, treaties tossed in the trash, and Trump somehow always shirtless at a golf cart yelling at a map. Crockett didn't stop there. She highlighted how Trump's obsession with America's first has turned into America versus everyone. From trade wars that tanked farmers to tariffs that made basic imports cost more than concert tickets, she asked the question everyone else was too afraid to ask. Why are we out here fighting countries we used to work with? But she wasn't done there. She cracked her knuckles and said, "Oh, we're definitely going to talk about Putin." Because according to Crockett, Trump doesn't just admire Putin, he practically writes him love poems. And let's be honest, she's not lying. Every time Trump mentions Putin, it's with the same twinkle in his eye he usually reserves for Diet Coke and golf course lawsuits. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any videos of Jasmine Crockett attacking Trump.
Trying to change the reality of who invaded who after we kept saying that Trump was nothing but Putin's puppet. We kept saying that he was palling around with Putin. We've said it all kinds of ways. But this comes at the heels of the UN voting with Russia. And unfortunately, he decided that he wanted to talk about his clothes. Now, maybe this is because Trump never wanted to go serve his country, and right now the only service that he's giving to us is driving our country apart. But I'm sorry, when you're at war, you're not worried about your outfit. That is what we call a privilege, number one. Number two, to say, oh, what can you afford? Well, if he was walking around in the fanciest suits, I'm sure that they would accuse him of taking our dollars and spending it on his wardrobe. This is a no-win situation when you're walking in with someone who has decided that he is going to align himself with a dictating thug.
Jasmine Crockett wasn't done. Because in the middle of a brutal war, while innocent Ukrainians fought for their lives, their homes, and the very idea of freedom, Donald Trump was busy defending Russia. Let that sink in. While missiles were raining down on Kyiv, Trump was out here talking about how smart Putin was. Like the man just got a perfect SAT score and not a one-way ticket to The Hague. Crockett wasn't just outraged, she was disgusted. While Ukraine begged the world for weapons and support, Trump was out here retweeting Putin propaganda and complaining that NATO was being too mean to his buddy in the Kremlin.
Listen, Zelensky is right. He doesn't have the privilege that we have. We've got water on each side, and we used to have friends on the north and south. He doesn't have that privilege. And so I really want America to wake up, because this should not be partisan.
Jasmine says it's not just what Trump said, it's what he didn't say. She reminded us all how Trump never condemned Putin, never stood up for Ukraine, never even pretended to care unless someone shoved a microphone in his face between golf swings. J.D. Vance had questioned Zelensky about his choice of clothing, suggesting it was disrespectful not to wear a suit in such a setting. The irony here is palpable. While Zelensky was navigating the treacherous waters of wartime leadership, choosing attire that resonated with his people's struggle, Trump seemed more preoccupied with sartorial choices than the substantive issues at hand. It's as if, amidst a house fire, the homeowner is critiquing the firefighter's uniform. After fixating on Zelensky's attire during a wartime meeting, one might think Donald Trump's priorities couldn't be more misplaced. Yet he soon shifted his attention to an even more audacious endeavor: acquiring Greenland. The world's largest island, known for its vast ice sheets and minimal population, became the latest object of Trump's real estate ambitions.
And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich.
In a recent NBC News interview, Trump expressed unwavering confidence in annexing Greenland, stating, "We'll get Greenland. Yeah, 100%. He even hinted at the possibility of using military force, asserting he wouldn't take anything off the table to achieve this goal. Greenland's leadership responded with unequivocal resistance. Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen firmly declared, "The United States will not get that. We do not belong to anyone else." Despite this, Trump persisted, framing the acquisition as essential for global security and even suggesting it was necessary for world peace.
Tribune saying President Trump says the United States will, quote, get Greenland. Let me be clear, the United States will not get it. We do not belong to anyone else. We decide our own future. This from Greenland's Prime Minister.
The international community viewed these developments with alarm. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen visited Greenland to bolster ties and counter U.S. overtures, emphasizing respect for Greenland's autonomy. Meanwhile, NATO clarified it would not support any forcible territorial acquisition, underscoring the potential geopolitical ramifications of Trump's ambitions. He reminds everyone that Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years, more than double the time that the U.S. has existed, he notes. with a historian's flair and a mathematician's precision. Then, with the gravitas of a man who's had enough, he delivers the piece de resistance. Mr. Trump F off. Well, according to Trump, it's all about national security. In his view, owning Greenland is akin to placing a no trespassing sign in the Arctic, keeping those pesky Chinese at bay. He even went so far as to declare that acquiring Greenland is essential for world peace. Because nothing says peace like attempting to buy another country's territory, right?
We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security and international security. We have to do something with Greenland. We have to protect Greenland. We need Greenland because of national security, international security, world peace. And we'll have to do that.
But let's not forget the economic incentives. Greenland is rich in rare earth minerals and uranium. Trump envisions tapping into these resources to boost the U.S. economy. After all, who needs environmental concerns when there's money to be made? And then there's the strategic military advantage. Greenland's location is prime real estate for monitoring missile activity, especially between the U.S. and Russia. Controlling the North Atlantic's Greenland-Iceland-UK gap could be crucial in a potential world conflict. Because nothing deters aggression like a well-placed golf course. I mean, military base.
You are exactly where God wants you. Your district chose you because they believe in you, and so do I. The next month, I went viral for the first of many times to come. For hitting Republicans with a dose of their own medicine.
As the Greenland saga unfolded, Representative Jasmine Crockett couldn't help but notice a recurring theme. Republicans dishing out audacious policies, but recoiling when met with equally bold rebuttals. Determined to highlight this irony, she decided it was time to serve them a taste of their own medicine. In the end, Crockett's message was unequivocal. If the GOP insists on setting a precedent of audacious unilateral moves, they should be prepared to experience the very strategies they champion-served with a generous helping of their own rhetoric. Her unfiltered commentary serves as a comedic compass, guiding us through the fog of absurdity. In an era where press conferences often resemble stand-up routines, it's refreshing to have someone who delivers punchlines with purpose. As the political theater continues its run, one thing's for certain. With Jasmine Crockett on stage, the show promises both laughs and a hefty dose of reality. The real question is, do you agree with Jasmine? Make sure to watch our video on Barbara Streisand if you want to see more berating of good old Donald Trump.